What is up, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of the Cinema Wave podcast here at the Culture Wave Media Network, and we are back to discuss episode 7 of season 2 of Daredevil Born Again on Disney+. This is the penultimate episode of season 2. Lots setting up the finale for this episode, a lot of things leading us into a different kind of direction, big turning points, a lot of things to discuss with this episode. I'm going to be one of your hosts. My name is Darian Scalamoni. I am joined as always by Vinny Albano.
Hello.
So we were talking before we started recording, and we're in this midst of TV overload right now. There's a lot of things that are being released, a lot of things that people aren't watching also. Like Beef, I know, which you and Zach just covered. By the time this comes out, you guys can check out their review of Beef Season 2 on the channel. But that had lower viewership than previously. Netflix has another comedy that did really well for them last season called Running Point, starring Kate Hudson. Those ratings are down. Daredevil Born Again ratings are down on Disney+, and they're already in the middle of shooting season 3 right now. So interesting. But you were also saying that you feel like you think this series is fine. I've been really enjoying this season. We're not giving scores, obviously, yet because we haven't finished the show, but I am a really big fan of this season. I'm a really big fan of this episode. But for you, like, what about this episode, broad thoughts, did you like or dislike, or how are you feeling now as we're like literally about to enter the finale of the season?
Yeah, well, that's the thing, is that I hate to be a hater because
I want you to be honest. I'd rather you be honest, so we can have a big discussion about this.
Yeah, 100%, and I'm going to be honest. It's just that I don't think this series is bad by any means. It's just that the style and the execution, the pacing, the way it's edited, the way they present this story is like, I just can't grasp it at all, you know? And what I mean by that is every single moment of like elevated emotion just kind of feels very tacky for me, or doesn't really hit as well. But I do like what they're doing, like with the political commentary. I like what they're doing with a lot of these characters. But I also feel like Matt is actively always being sidelined in his own.
It's been a lot of the commentary online, because the show is called Daredevil, and there's a lot of characters, and they're balancing a lot of different things within the story for a show that's called Daredevil.
Yeah, and I think now that we're and why I'm being a little bit more negative on this episode, I wasn't on the previous 2 episodes, but that's one reason why. But also the like, we're 1 episode out from the finale, and it just doesn't feel like we're really building to anything. You know, it doesn't, like, I have no idea what the finale is gonna be.
Yeah,
right, like. I don't have much to say, honestly. I feel like a lot of the show goes in one ear and out the other.
Okay.
And I'm not really emotionally attached to anything here. But I do like moments like Daniel dying. That was pretty crazy. I was like, oh my God, did not expect that.
Yeah.
And I feel like, which is so funny, is that like, why am I more connected with this subplot than any other subplot in the show?
Daniel and BB. Yeah. Well, a lot of people seem to be. A lot of people really like the relationship that they've kind of formed, and I do think that it's grown from season to season. I think that a lot of season 1 was more of BB being handled again as that journalistic character, serving that purpose that Ben, her uncle, served in the original series, and just kind of trying to have to get out the other side of the narrative of what the Fisk administration was doing, like, and propagandizing it. I do think it was smart for the writers to kind of lean into that relationship more, though, because you understand that there's a human element not only to what BB is doing, but Daniel as well. Like, Michael Gandolfini's character, I think, has become one of the audience's favorite characters in this world. And so it is devastating in a way when he does finally die. I've seen some people, I won't say it's 100% one-to-one comparison, but Renzi Feliz's character in The Penguin, and the way he aligns with Oz, people have compared to what's happening with Daniel and Wilson. Now, I would have loved to have seen more of Daniel and Wilson together. I would have, because that plays a lot into it. That's what Daniel's fighting for, and I believe he only has 1 or 2 scenes in the entire season with Wilson, which sucks. But they also built out a storyline with him and Buck that the emotion actually, in my opinion, really comes through in that scene. Like in the scene where Buck has to make a decision and he doesn't want to kill Daniel, I think it really does play out. And I thought Michael's acting in that sequence was great. I mean, the back and forth between the two of them and how Daniel still at his core is like, I'm still going to fight for what I believe is right. And because he came into the Wilson administration, admittedly, almost like as an adjacent to like somebody that believed like in like Trump's first term that he was going to be a radical person that would change the political system forever.
Yeah.
It's a very similar thing to Wilson. So I do agree in terms of like, I think it's a subplot that people can get behind and clearly you still have a feeling towards it. And a lot of the audience does as well. I think it's hard because what they're trying to do is they're trying to build a world within the world. That's a lot of what season 2 is doing. It's a lot of setup to kind of build out Hell's Kitchen into what they tried to do, what they did already in the Netflix world, right? Yeah. They're trying to rework and redo all of that. Now, when we first started talking about this series last year, and it was me, you, and Stillwagon, which Stillwagon, if you're watching, hope you're watching with us and hope you can come up for the finale, but you might not even be home, but we'll talk about that later. But we all talked about how we had certain love for the way that they were doing things on Netflix, and there were some things that we liked that they were doing even better in the Disney Plus version. I think a lot of this was what a season 1 ideally would have been if the people in charge now were in charge from the beginning.
Yes.
You know, and so it's hard because like trying to be objective about it, I think for what the task is, they're handling it as well as they can. But it's obviously rewriting what other fans of the original series love so dearly. So like for me, the biggest thing that I haven't cared about since his reintroduction this season was Bullseye. Like all the Bullseye stuff, as great as Wilson Bethel is, for me, it's just like now he's just serving as a pawn for to balance the scales, as he says, for Matt. And Matt isn't really a part of any of these things. Like it's really just Karen being a ploy now for him to kind of go after and dealing a lot with the other side of it, which is the Wilson side, the governmental side, which still it's cool to see that. It's cool to see the MCU be grounded in some ways, but I do agree that the one thing that feels off to me about this season is the sidelining of your main player because so much of the show needs to revolve around Matt and Daredevil.
Yeah. Funny enough, I think the best episode of this season so far was the flashback episode.
That was was that episode 4? Right before the episode where Vanessa dies?
I believe it was episode 5.
Was it the episode where, let me say. Well, you can keep talking. I have my notes.
Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe it's, I'm not entirely sure, but I think that was the best episode so far because it grounds us back. It feels grounded again. You know what I mean? A lot of those flashback scenes, they're trying to bring back the style.
It's episode 4.
No, okay.
It is. It's the episode before where Vanessa actually dies.
Okay.
Yeah.
And interesting. Wait, would that be the episode where...
That's the boxing match.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay, sorry.
Yeah, no, you're good.
Episode's confused. But what I liked about those flashback scenes is that it felt grounded in its presentation. A lot of what we have here, even with Matt, is I get it. They have this new style for Born Again, and they try to elevate these scenes. There's a lot of slow-mo, and there's like a lot of like, but I just don't mess with that. Like it feels like I'm always detached from the story and the characters. It feels like they're trying to put it in this like, okay, this is a fictional world rather than like being within the world and letting your audience like be among these people.
Yeah.
You know, that's my big issue. And I feel like a lot of Matt's stuff, these emotional beats, even with in this episode, him returning to the church after he's injured, it kind of felt like nothing to me because of that style of presentation.
I can understand where you're coming from. I think this is just a stylistic thing that we both have differing opinions on, and we've talked about this a little bit. because I like that what we're seeing feels like a blend of the grounded stuff with elevated comic bookiness.
Yeah.
Like I feel like it's part of, and I don't want, like, fun is probably the wrong term to use, but there's elements of the Daredevil comics from what I've read that you get to see Daredevil kind of having fun in the action, you know, like, and I feel like so much of the action in that original series, as hyper violent as it is, and it's shot beautifully and it's very gritty, they're obviously going for a different approach with what they're doing in the show. And it is elevated, and it is at times it's jarring. At other times, I think it works really well. So, like, I'm not going to spoil again. Like, I've seen all the episodes of this show now at this point. You haven't, but there's something we'll talk about next week, that there's like a sequence in the finale that it does not work for me at all. But meanwhile, it's worked for me the whole rest of the season. Like the Bullseye sequence, I think it works really well. I don't know how much slow-mo we get in the Bullseye thing. I don't think we get much at all. But a lot of the fight scenes between, like when we get the battle between Matt and Wilson, we get some slow-mo in that. And part of it, again, is still an ode to the comics. Like when they show the imagery of the Daredevil horns, the shadow against Wilson's face, like that's a historic comic cover. The Devil's Reign cover of him doing the knee, which is in slow-mo to his face, that's a nod to the comics. So it's hard because some people, like, that's what I mean. It's always going to be kind of person to person, because there's some people that complain that the MCU doesn't adapt comics at all. And then there's other people that are like, no, I want to see as close to a 1-to-1 as you could give me. Like, I want to see them adapt these comic book storylines for this world.
Yeah, and I get that. And I do like that, but I disagree with you there, because I feel like that's not exactly my problem.
Okay.
My problem is that they take us away from the characters within its presentation at points.
Okay.
Like the action, I have no complaints about. Honestly, the action is the best it's been in a very long time. I think the second unit director, I forget his name, but he does an amazing job with so many of like these action sequences. And I like that they're paying homage to a lot of comic panels. It's the fact that, and the funness is not my problem. It's like the sheen coolness that they try to go for. For example, this episode, did I need a slow-mo dolly shot to Paige as she's exiting the car, and then a slow-mo as they go up the stairs to the courtroom, and then slow-mo of them coming through the revolving door?
That I can understand.
And it's like, whoosh, and then the music's like, right? I'm like, this, now I'm detached from these characters. I would have much preferred a moment where the camera is inside the car with Karen, and we're just locked on Karen for a moment, and she exits there. Yeah. And instead of focusing on their walk up, focus on what the people are saying. Well, there's protesters all around. What are are the protesters on her side? Are they against her? Like, what, like, it's putting it on a level of like, I'm losing connection.
Yeah, know? It's a detached feeling is what you're saying, which I completely understand. I think that I agree. Moments like that, I see it as the way I think that the showrunners look at it, is probably something to make it biblical in the way that the first show was, but do it in their own stylistic way, and it's not working. And I can understand the criticism with that. I do. But so I think in terms of pacing and style, that's taking you out, which is making you feel like there's negative aspects to what is being shown on screen.
Yeah, I just can't get with the characters at this point. Like, I feel very detached, and it feels like they're, like we said, they're sidelining Matt, and next episode is the finale, and it doesn't feel like there's really much of a finale here. Yeah. You know, like,
there's a lot coming.
Okay.
The finale feels big. The finale, like...
Okay, that's good.
Yeah, and again, like, it's dependent, right? Because it's like, you could look at that in two ways. You could look at that as like, why did they wait until, like, we talk about this with The Boys week to week when we cover The Boys, and season 4 in particular was a season where week by week, me, you, and Michael were like, why are we still watching this? Why do we care? And the finale for season 4 was so good that we're like, we're back, back, baby.
Yeah.
And so it's hard because I'm excited to talk about, we're still covering obviously episode 7, but I'm excited. I'm more excited for next week's conversation with you because I think there's going to be a lot more to talk about in terms of the story, where we end up, and where we're going to go from there. One thing that I didn't get a chance to talk to you about because you weren't on the last episode was Jessica Jones is back.
Yeah.
Right? Jessica Jones is back. And she doesn't have much to do in episode 7, but episode 6, we find out that she has a daughter. She's attacked at her home. A lot of people are speculating that the daughter is Luke Cage's. I think that's pretty safe to assume.
Yeah, it's definitely.
So what did you think, going backwards for a little bit and kind of seeing in this episode, I think all we get is kind of, she wakes up Mr. Charles in his room.
Yeah.
So we know that she has a connection with Mr. Charles. There's a lot of rumors going around that Mr. Charles works for Valentina. And Valentina obviously is operating in the high government of the MCU now.
Yeah.
So what do you think about the reintroduction to Jessica Jones? And I'll say, honestly, you probably feel the same to get your perspective on this. Mr. Charles and the non-factor that he is has been one of my least favorite things of the season, personally, because it's Matthew Lillard and we want to see more of him.
Yeah.
And he's just operating kind of in the shadows and he's doing kind of a silly shtick a little bit.
Yeah, and it's such a shame because he was like the favorite part in the first episode, second episode. When he's introduced, he's like, this is a factor that is unpredictable and something that I remember I was like, oh my God, this is going to be exciting. I love this guy. And then now, like, it just kind of feels like they didn't really utilize him at all. But I'm sure he's going to be used more. To the question of Jessica Jones, she's my GOAT. I love Jessica Jones. Like, Jessica Jones season 1 is, Daredevil as a whole is my favorite Netflix superhero show.
Yeah.
But Jessica Jones season 1 was like
very
my
good
favorite for a very, very long time. And I love Jessica as a character. So I'm super glad she's back. I'm super glad that she's just like, she's chilling all this. She's like, her attitude, Kristen Ritter is bringing back this performance. So I like her scenes. I'm curious what she's going to play next episode because we see that she kind of scouts Matt into the church.
Yeah.
And then that's the last we see of her in this episode. So I'm curious what she's going to play a part in next episode. I want her to be a badass. The thing about Jessica, what I love about her character is, she has super strength and super resistance. But her intelligence is her actual power.
Yeah.
She's an incredible private investigator and she knows how to be like a detective. Allow Jessica to be a detective. I want to see that. And that would be really, really cool.
Yeah. I wonder if they're going to continue that on with Daredevil or if that's going to be, again, kind of doing something different with her. I think that, correct me if I'm wrong, but Mr. Charles doesn't reference Luke Cage by name in this. No. Does he? But he alludes to the fact that he can reconnect Jessica with him.
Yeah, I believe so.
That happens in the bedroom conversation.
Okay.
At least I have that in my notes, so I'm pretty sure that's what happens.
Yeah.
A lot of speculation on the fact that Luke and Iron Fist, Danny Rand, are literal heroes for hire for Valentina. And they're operating under her purview because it was a deal, as Mr. Charles, I think, is the one that brings it up, that there was a deal that was given or offered to all of them, which I think is meaning the Defenders. Yeah. And some of them took it and some of them didn't. So it's going to be very interesting to kind of see how Luke Cage and Danny Rand get reintegrated into this world, and plus Frank is there, and now we have Dex, and there's a lot. That's what I mean. There's a lot happening. Yeah. So we're going to have to start to see how they break that down, and if they're going to keep that something that's like Disney Plus adjacent, or if we're going to start to introduce these characters into the movies. Like, there's been a lot more speculation now recently that people think that Daredevil's going to be in Spider-Man, in the Spider-Man movie. Wilson Fisk, as of right now, I think is still not allowed legally to be in an MCU movie. There's been some set leaks of what Vincent D'Onofrio looks like. next season. It's a very different look for what they're doing with Wilson, and we can get into that more next week. But Cherry gets reintroduced in this season. Mr. Charles also suggests that Fisk might try to kill the governor. I believe, if again, correct me if I'm wrong, it's this episode where there's the assassination attempt on the governor.
Yeah,
That's this episode, right?
Stops
him. Yeah. So the political stuff is obviously coming to a head very quickly as well. We have Wilson Fisk has been the mayor now for I think a year or close to a year. If not a little over a year by the time that we're now taking place in season 2. And Daredevil kind of alludes to Bullseye having that impact and how that can balance the scales. You're someone who's been advocating for Bullseye week by week, and you love the character, and you love Wilson Bethel as the character. What do you think about him potentially aligning with Daredevil now, and do you think it's the right move for his character?
It was a little weird. I can't lie. This episode, it was a little weird. But I think it can work. I think it could work in like a Batman Joker type of way, where every time Batman kind of gives the Joker a little bit of trust, he's gonna break it.
Yeah.
Which might get a little exhausting for Marvel, but I think it would. I think it can work. I don't think Bullseye deserves a
redemption arc. Yeah, I agree.
Yeah. But and I don't think they're trying to do that, because even in this last scene, as he walks away, it's very menacing. The tone, the presentation of it, the music that's playing, it's very dark and menacing. It's like he's not really, he's doing this selfishly of like, making him want to feel better about, except for actually wanting to provide the world a protector, a figure of justice. No, he just wants himself to feel better. And I think that you can do this as long as you could, just don't redeem him.
Yeah, I would agree with that. Now, we do get more. We get, again, not so much Daredevil in this episode, but we do get a lot more Matt, because Matt presents Karen with the idea of returning to the courtroom and kind of putting himself back in there. Are you excited to see him back in the courtroom? Is that something that you've been missing this season?
Yeah, I love Matt in the courtroom. As long as they actually give it to us. I feel like, again, with the scene that they showed us already, it's very quickly cut. Again, the way they present it, they're not really giving it to us. They're giving us the highlights. They're giving us like the little bits, but give us like scenes where he's commanding the room.
Yeah.
And this is why he's one of the greatest lawyers. Give us those scenes.
Yeah.
I'm not getting it from this episode.
Yeah, well, they try to get a lot done in this episode.
Yeah,
I would say like the cutting, the editing is, it's a little all over the place because we're jumping from storyline to storyline. So we get that part of it. We obviously get the attack on them once they leave the courtroom where Matt gets shot. We have. From that point, we jump to the Daniel and BB storyline, where Daniel's talking about how he has to hold her hostage, and we're getting to an ending point with that. And we get the confrontation between Heather and Karen, where Heather is finally kind of having these violent tendencies, and she winds up hitting Karen in the interrogation room. How do you feel about the evolution of Heather's character now, coming from where she was season 1 to now in season 2?
I actually did really like that scene.
You did or you didn't?
I did.
Okay.
I did. Because I don't know where they're going to go with Heather's character, but I like how she's getting darker. I like that what she experienced with Muse had a great effect on her. And I love to see that spiral. She's kind of like a Harley Quinn in a way.
Yeah.
Like she's, Harley Quinzel in the Batman comics. She's a therapist,
psychologist,
and she kind of spirals. So I think this could work. I love that scene where Karen and her, they're on the same page with they know secrets about each other. And to see that play out and immediately go into violence, I'm glad they didn't hold that back. I'm glad that her character is expressing that. And yeah, I'm just excited to see what happens.
Where they go with her. I will say, because we were very big complainers about the way Muse was handled.
Yeah.
In season 1. And though the actual, like, I mean, again, visually Muse looked great, but the way that they handled the character in general, we weren't necessarily fans of. I think that the outcome of what he did having an effect on Heather at least somewhat redeems the overall effect that Muse had, because it means that Muse looms larger going forward. You know, it's like that character, what he actually winded up doing serves a bigger purpose for the overall story. It's not just going to be something where it's like, oh, like this crazy serial killer just like was a lunatic, killed a bunch of people, and now like he's just going to fade away into memory.
Yeah.
You know, I think the direction they're going with Heather is going to be really interesting to see where she ends up by the finale and for a potential season 3.
Yeah.
Now Daniel and BB, you talked a little bit in the beginning about how you liked the way it was handled. I mean, I think it was the best part of the episode. Maybe I'm biased because I just interviewed Janaea and I thought she was great in the episode as well. But there's something to, first of all, this is, in my opinion, from what I've seen him do, this is like the closest I've ever seen Michael to like Tony Soprano. Like literally being like, no, like I'm in a position right now where I don't know what the fuck to do, because I feel this loyalty to Wilson. He really, like, they've done a good job, I feel like, of building that relationship in a very unique way with Buck and Daniel over the season. It's not formulaic. It's not something where it's like, you're seeing them be buddy-buddy. Like, the whole hot dog scene, I know the first time we watched it, we're like, you laugh at it, but when you look at it in the context of where we're at now and where we end up, it's like he's setting the stage, man. Like, Buck as a character is someone, Artie Frusciante plays him. Like, I'm really intrigued by where they're going with him. He serves that hole that we've missed with the one character who was in the Netflix series. You know what I'm talking about? The guy who was Wilson's right-hand man?
Yeah.
I forget the character name, but he had the glasses and the slicked hair. So I think Buck serving that role in this world is good, especially because now understanding the level that Wilson's at, he's going to need somebody like that. Yeah. You know, my only disappointing factor with the Daniel stuff is, like I said, is that I wish I got to see more of him and Wilson. And but it's a tragedy, and it happens. I don't know if you've seen any of the promotional stuff or if you had a chance to watch my interview with Janaea before we started recording, but that was not decided upon.
Yeah.
They decided after they saw it in the original cut, Daniel lived. Buck let Daniel live, and he ended up lying to Wilson about the fact that he was still alive. And instead, they ended up CGIing the gunshot, and they killed off Daniel's character. Which, it's a tragedy because, similar to Renzi Felice's character in The Penguin, you root for him. You still root for Daniel because of the acting and how great of a performer Michael Gandolfini is. So when you get that scene kind of playing out from when Daniel decides what he's going to do with BB, and you see the confrontation between them versus when he goes in to kind of talk to Buck, how did you feel about the way they handled Daniel's death in general?
I did enjoy it. I love how, or I shouldn't say I enjoyed it.
Yeah, but it was effective.
Yes, it was very effective. Because what I love, and they do this a lot in TV shows, but it always works. They ended the episode with the shot.
Yeah.
And the built-up anticipation, his character is easily one of the best parts of this series. He's youthful, and same with BB. Like, they're youthful, they're new voices. They symbolize this demographic of New York and this world that we don't typically see.
And the changing of the guard, potentially.
Yeah.
What the future holds in Hell's Kitchen for this world. Yeah.
Yeah, and to see him dead changes the stakes, because I genuinely thought BB was going to die. I thought it was going to be the opposite way around. Daniel was going to be like, buddy, it's a Fisk. But now it's completely opposite.
Yeah.
So Yeah, and what does this mean for BB?
Yeah.
You know, where does her character go after this?
Yeah. I love that he tells her before he lets her go, he says, you better make it worth it.
Yeah.
Like, there's something to their relationship that I just think plays out very effectively. And I think that if you're going to have a romantic relationship other than Karen and Matt serve that kind of purpose, I mean, you get a lot of emotion from and care for their relationship, and they don't even share an intimate moment that's romantic. You know, it's really just something where it's a love for one another that you kind of see play out through the acting, through Janaea and Michael's performances. So we get a lot, like I said, we get a lot in this episode. There's a lot that happens between all the different storylines, and everything is coming to a head in the finale. So there's a lot that happens. I know you're thinking it's kind of just fine, which I hope. I hope the finale does change your mind on it. I'm curious on what your thoughts are going to be when the finale comes. Like I said, there's a lot that happens in the finale as well, but I think they center a lot of the episode. I do think that we're not getting a lot of cutting back and forth, and part of it is because a lot of the characters are in a central location, which we'll see. You'll see in the finale, but I am excited to talk about that with you. Is there anything else in this episode that you wanted to cover that we haven't already?
Not really. Not really.
Okay.
I think we covered all things. You know, funny enough, these episodes are quite short. I feel like I believe they're only 45 minutes.
Yeah, this was 44 minutes this episode. Yeah.
So, yeah, but
You want a longer finale?
I'm excited. I hope it's like an hour.
I wonder if it tells us on here because no, it doesn't have it on here. I think it's about, if I remember correctly, I think it's about 7 minutes longer.
Okay.
So you get a little bit more time with the characters. But I'm digging the show. I think season 2 is a lot better than season 1. Personally, I think that the way that they're kind of covering the story and the way they're building up with these characters and these reimagined versions of these characters is really cool, and I'm excited to see where they go from here. I just want to see, like I said this in last week's episode, my solo episode, I was like, I just want to see them really handle the street level heroes with grace and have us not be waiting around seeing what's going to happen, because like, I mean, if something's happening off world, you can kind of excuse it in the MCU at times. Yeah. But like, there's a lot happening in the world. Like we need to kind of center all that, and I hope we get like we should see Valentina probably in a Daredevil episode in the future if she hired Luke Cage and Danny Rand. 100%. You know, we should absolutely see her character in something. So curious what you guys think. Did you guys like episode 7? Did you not like episode 7? What do you think about season 2 in general? Let us know in the comments. We'd love to talk to you guys about it. Give this video a like if you guys can, and subscribe to us here at the Culture Wave Media Network. We are now over 1,000 subscribers. Thank you guys so much for watching and subscribing along. But we're on the road now to 2,000 subscribers. So please hit that subscribe button, pass it along to your family and friends. I also had the great benefit of interviewing ahead of this episode, as I've been saying a couple times in this, Janaea Walton, who plays BB Urich. I got to talk to her for close to 30 minutes. We talked about her reaction to finding out that Daniel died, how she got her role in the MCU. We played some fun Marvel games. So check out that interview as well. She was great to talk to, and I'm looking forward to seeing her future in the MCU and beyond. We also have a bunch of other stuff on the channel for you guys. Our Michael Jackson biopic review is up on the channel at this point. Beef Season 2 is up on the channel. We're covering Euphoria. The Boys just finished Invincible. So there's tons of stuff we're doing, interviews. Check all that stuff out and follow us on social media if you don't already. All that stuff is below me in the video, and it's also in our YouTube description. So just signing off, I've been Darian Scalamoni.
And I've been Vinny Albano.
And we'll see you guys next time.
This is The Culture.